Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, right here on the Eagles Pinpool Podcast Network. I'm Phil Stiefel, your host, and bringing you the fastest 10 minutes or less Eagles podcast there is: news, notes, opinions, and all things in between. We're going to start today. We're going to talk A.J. Brown first here. A.J. Brown, I don't think enough credit goes to how important A.J. Brown really is to the Eagles offense. I got some stats for you here on A.J. Brown that I want to give to you. First and foremost, the Eagles themselves as a team averaging 27 points per game when A.J. Brown is healthy and out there. When he's not, and he missed 3 games this year, they're averaging only 17 points per game. Kellen Moore today on Wednesday's show, we always recap the Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore week after the game press conference, and he talked about that perfect throw to A.J. Brown got from Jalen Hurts and just 40-yard plus plays in general, and how easy it is when you have an elite wide receiver like A.J. Brown to go for those big explosive plays. I just don't think enough credit goes. I mean, we give him credit, but do we give him enough credit how important he is? In one-on-one coverage, and I don't know why teams leave him on one-on-one coverage. He's only played in 3 games this year. He's had 16 catchable balls in one-on-one coverage this year. He's caught all 16 of them for a combined 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jalen Hurts throwing to A.J. Brown in those one-on-one coverage situations, a perfect 158.3 quarterback rating. Perfect. So it's something that I just don't think – I think it gets understated a little bit, even though we talk about it a lot. It's not enough. Kellen Moore in his press conference, a couple of the notes here from his press conference, Kenny Gainwell, he talked about and complimented him on the fact that he's had a lesser role, but when was needed more on Sunday against the Giants, did very well in that expanded role. He talked about how they have prioritized cutting down on the turnovers, and now we've seen that 2 straight games without a turnover from Jalen Hurts or the offense at all. And he was asked specifically about one of the 5 sacks that Jalen Hurts took, about how it looked like he just fell to the ground on the sack. And he complimented Jalen Hurts because the pocket got tight. He didn't see anywhere, and he took care of the ball. And that goes back to the ball security that they have prioritized with him. He was asked about Devontae Smith having a lesser role this week in the offense, and he made sure to compliment Devontae Smith. While he only had the 1 catch on the bubble screen for -2 yards, he did a great job in the blocking on all the run plays, and they obviously ran the ball a lot and was out there every play, run blocking to an exceptionally well rate there. He was asked about Ben Van Summer's role as a fullback in blocking. It's something that they randomly figured out in training camp could come to use at some point in the season, and they really focused on it in this game. They do lead the league in 40-plus yard plays. An explosive play is like 20-plus yards. They lead the league in 40-plus yard plays and the success rate in them. And again, he complimented not just A.J. Brown, but all the skilled players on the team as the reason why they're capable of doing that. They're still working on the slow starts, he said. They're still trying to find the right combination to begin games. It doesn't look like the zone read is going anywhere because he still seems to every week talk about how important the zone read is. It looks like even though he struggled in pass protection, did well in run blocking, but in pass protection he was a little weak. Fred Johnson still sounds like he is going to be the left tackle while Jordan Mailata is out of the equation. A side note, Paris Campbell was cut from the team on Tuesday afternoon, probably leading to believe that Aeneas Smith is ready to return from the injured list, and the rookie will probably be the guy to replace him on the squad there on the 53-man roster. Now we go to Vic Fangio. We love listening to Vic Fangio talk because Vic Fangio is always just ever so honest with everything he says. He was asked first and foremost what changed pass rushing-wise over the last 2 weeks and for them to be getting so many more sacks lately, and he complimented the secondary. That great coverage complements a great pass rush. That goes back to everything we talked about after the 2022 season. Leading the league in sacks like they did, almost setting the record in 2022, is why Darius Slay and James Bradbury looked well. This year, the complete opposite. The secondary stepping up their game. Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Darius Slay at times, Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers, all of them combined make the pass rusher's job easier. He said the key to the blitz working, it's just the timing. And they are still running a lot more 4-man blitzes than we realize, but the timing is working well. Something that I always find really interesting about Vic Fangio when he speaks is that he does downplay the young players a lot. He was asked about Cooper DeJean, and he's like, he played good. You know what I mean? Like he played zone a lot, so I don't want to put any of the, the compliment totally on him. He said there was a down play here or there that he made. He seems to do that a lot. I mean, when he's talking about Cooper DeJean, he talked about Sidney Brown. He talked about a lot of these young guys, and he definitely tries to downplay them a lot. He did say Quinion Mitchell does want that first interception, and he's been their cornerback one for a while now, dating back to training camp. He was asked about Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith's progression in the defense, and he was asked about Bryce Huff first, and then Nolan Smith's name was added into the question, and he jumped at complimenting Nolan Smith and how much he's improved and mentioned him first, and then just said, Bryce Huff, well, he just had more rushing opportunities in the game. Definitely, again, another young player that he just seemed not interested in complimenting, but trying to keep these young guys hungry for it. He did mention the importance of getting Alex Hunt and Sidney Brown some snaps in a regular season game and how important it is. Nick Sirianni earlier in the week downplayed it, but Vic Fangio definitely played up how important it is for these guys to get snaps. He did say Sidney Brown definitely needs a few more weeks of practice reps before we start seeing his role increase because, again, that was his first game in over a year since he got injured last year. He was asked about Cooper DeJean, and I've talked about this on Twitter a lot. I'm not a fan of Cooper DeJean as the punt returner. I don't want my slot cornerback. Is he worried about him? He just very, very adamantly said, yes, I do not like that at all, but he's got to deal with it, and he's been dealing with that throughout his career as a defensive coordinator, one of his defensive players doing punt returns. He did start to hint at Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins and company, and how elite of an offense. It's going to be a big challenge for them next week against Cincinnati. He was asked about takeaways, and they have to be better. There was not much else he could say about that. But the big thing that I took away from Vic Fangio is, again, how he, as a veteran defensive coordinator and a veteran coach, tries to keep it very level, especially young guys that are still learning and growing. He doesn't want them to get too high on themselves, so he keeps it very level there. It's something that I've noticed a lot of with him. Something else that was talked about a lot is Jalen Hurts and his 18 sacks in 6 games so far, that they have to keep him upright. But as he gains more confidence in his offensive line, things get better. We'll get more into the Bengals stats. I got some stats on their defense and what their strengths and weaknesses are. We'll do that on Thursday's show. But this is the Eagles Checkdown right here on the Eagles Pinball Podcast Network. Check out the full long version of this show, trending in the AM, Monday through Friday on the STT Sports Network. Each show is linked below. You can copy and paste that link. Hit the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate to hear your opinions on the Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, everything going on in the Philadelphia sports world. But, guys, for today, everybody have a great day. Go Birds, and bubbles up to you.